Are we rock stars?
Okay, we've I think successfully gone live, George. This is always a trick.
Hey,
Thank
Bruce.
you, everybody, for joining us. This is our second attempt at this. You didn't see the first one, thank God. So, um, I, I am Bruce with the Edge of Innovation Workshop YouTube channel, and we've also got George Kenner here. And George is with the George Kenner channel on YouTube, as well as Laser Freedom Speak As You Wish on Facebook. It's a big group, it's growing rapidly. So if you're on Facebook, go check it out and check out both of our channels. So, George, we've kind of been through this before, but let's do it again.
Well, I don't know where I want to start this time. I think I kind of made the point in the last one that didn't get broadcast that I'm really mad at you for everything that you did to inspire me to get involved in 3D printing.
Yeah,
Remember when you showed me that 4-inch hose connector?
I did. Yes.
You got me addicted.
Yes.
And I went out and I bought what is probably, and I'm not going to make an endorsement for it because I don't know, I don't have any other machines to compare to, but I have had zero faults with my new Bamboo X1 carbon machine.
And there it is.
I'm very happy. There were, it comes literally out of the box, ready to plug in. There are some, little idiosyncrasies that you got to get to, just like each one of these little techie, I'm going to call them toys or tools. And, but I was able to overcome it, downloaded the Bamboo Slicer. I was probably printing honestly in 4 hours, and made my first little benchy, and I loved it. I've sent you some pictures. There's one picture I sent you that has, and maybe want to show the audience, it looks like a pile of different pieces on the floor.
Yeah, let's pull that up. I believe this is what you're talking about.
Now, you know what that is? That's all my mistakes. And I probably burned through, that's probably represents about $100 worth of filament. And you're not seeing it all, but I went through some filament. I got it going. The thing is I didn't just go in, which you can do, and go to printables and get the piece that I wanted. I wanted to make it myself in Fusion 360. So I went into Fusion 360 and I crafted this myself. As a matter of fact, I've made some other things that I've got sitting here on my desk. I have just a little container for my some of my drives and stuff that I can seal up. I made a container for my hard drives.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, because I think that's it. I've got it on the screen, I think.
Yeah. This is a battery holder that I just made. These are all things that I couldn't get anywhere else, but they sure organized my office. They actually, for the type of PLA and the surface finish, I like a more satin finish. I don't really like glossy. This came out absolutely perfect. So I got ripped off though.
Yeah,
I got ripped.
Happen.
I got taken for $15 by a scammer.
Oh, geez, I hope you can recover from that.
Oh, I'm telling you, I saw this and I thought, this is like one of those Nigerian princes, but it's only $15. So, maybe he's legit, maybe he's not. So I invested the $15, sent him some money, and the gentleman, as you can see right here, this was part of our conversation. He hit me up saying he could offer me some private lessons. There'd be $15. So I sent him the file that I was trying to make the corrections on. And he says, oh, that'll be $130. And I says, I got an hour of time for you to explain this to me. If I just ask the questions and you show me how to do it and correct my own model, I'm good with that. Or you can even, show me, we'll draw a circle and not have it be the exact dimensions or whatever, if you feel like, you're making the product. And he's like, no, $130. Well, we went back and forth, and I'm sure that we spent an hour, him trying to get the 130 out of me. It didn't work. So, I got scammed. But, as a warning to all the people that are in my Facebook group that watch our YouTubes, be careful of this. And, I could have been a little bit different and said, let's start the Zoom meeting now and let me interview you. And, you pop up the program. I could have been more commanding, but what I was trying to be was, like more realistic, like somebody that's really excited to try and get the information. And, I just don't want anybody else to be taken. It didn't cost me any more than, well, you just went to Italy. How much is a really good bottle of wine over there?
It's surprisingly cheap because I drank a lot of it. They make it. We drank all local wines, and if you got the expensive stuff, it was about $40 a bottle at a restaurant.
Yeah.
So no, it was cheap.
Yeah. So I didn't. It wasn't a whole bunch of money, and it turns into a story, and it sets caution. I, in a way, really feel as though I recently somebody sent me $300 on PayPal. They held my money for like a week. So within an hour or so, I'm back at the PayPal saying, "Hey, look, I got scammed." And I gave him the communication. It was very clear that I hadn't got what I paid for, and the guy's acting as a merchant. I mean, it was a service exchange, and they kind of act like they're a credit card carrier. So, hey, guys, give me my money back. Oh, yeah. So, sorry. And I said, you're basically, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, and of course, I'm going to say I'm the damaged party, so I'm going to really think terribly of it. But it almost seems like, PayPal's helping facilitate this. Having been in banking and, all the things that we see on the news about, how Congress gets the fake reports from politicians and all that, and how they deny service to people, you'd think that they'd probably be interested in that. They probably, again, my impression, they're more interested in the dollar that it cost me to send them the money than, doing what's fair for people. So if you think you're going to have any protection that direction, you may want to, ask the questions even of the conduit you're sending the money through. So
yeah, well, as we all know, you got to be careful. There's a lot of scammers out there. I recently had one where I ordered an $81 3D printer that I was going to review on my YouTube channel and then give it away. I did the same thing on a laser cuttered engraver. And I ordered it on AliExpress, and it supposedly was shipped to someone in Pennsylvania. Who knows? But, I said I didn't get it. And they said, well, we'll give you a refund of $7, I think it was, and I said, well, no, I didn't get it. Well, okay, we'll refund $74, so we're going to keep 10. And I believe the scam was it never shipped. I'm not sure how they faked it, but, they would... A lot of people would say, okay, I got $74 back. I lost $6. What's the big deal? And they're surviving on, $10 per scam, I think is what was happening. And finally I did get my money back. I had to go to the credit card company, but it happens, and that's just unfortunately part of life.
I just want you to know, I am the type of person that is going to deny responsibility and blame you because you got me started with this. So, but I'm loving it, Bruce. You were so right. And I think I sent you a picture of it. I had broken a knob that went off the cleaner. And you can see by the diameter, there's nothing to this. You would think DeWalt would do something a little bit better than that. You can actually, I think, even see like on the inside, there's just like this it's like a little fly that held on the rest of the handle. So I went in, and in a matter of, it probably took me 15 minutes to get all the measurements, math it out, think about it. Did I want it longer or shorter, and make a new one and put it onto my printer. That's actually the drawings I did for the
for the nozzle. Yeah,
for the nozzle.
But
this is the type of thing that I'm loving it. I absolutely love it. As a matter of fact, an engineer that also he likes that I'm trying to do this stuff, and he's got a degree in it. He takes and sends me a really nice set of calipers. If I can get this thing open, just because we've exchanged a couple of gifts. He's a friend of mine. He's a great guy, but he sent me these just
nice.
Just to say, hey, I admire that you try. So there's a bunch of us out there that if you're watching this and you're thinking about getting involved in something, 3D printing's a lot of fun. Not quite as much fun as the laser I got coming.
Yeah, the title of this episode is $75,000 in New Toys, What's Not to Love? Well, I can tell you that the $75,000 has been spent by George, not by me. Now, I'm perfectly capable of spending lots of money on toys, but this month George is definitely in the lead. You got a new laser coming, so
you kind of inflated that. It's not quite $75,000.
Oh, don't let me kid you, folks.
But hey, I'm into exaggeration. So and anybody that's curious how much I got invested, you can go to Eon Laser and look up the Supernova 10 Redline, because that's what I have coming. It has both a glass tube at 100 watts and a 65 watt RF tube. And again, because people are listening to us and they're trying to determine whether or not they want to get involved, a glass tube is better for cutting. If you want to cut through wood or some other harder material, that's probably the better way to go. If you want to do like photorealistic engraving, the RF tube is better because it's a smaller beam size. So if you were printing or painting, would you rather use a big brush or a small brush for detail? Mm-hmm. So I have, I've actually did a video announcing that it was coming, and I show a photorealistic engrave. You're looking at this piece of acrylic and you think it's a photograph. Mm-hmm. It's that good. And what you've done with these signs up here is amazing. I mean,
if I had your new laser, they would be truly amazing. But yeah, and this is the kind of thing you can do with a 3D printer and a laser. I mean, they go hand in hand. And if you're in this to make money, you can do things. If you add a 3D printer to your laser business, you're going to make more money. If you add a laser to your 3D printing business, you're going to make more money. I mean, they just go hand in hand. We were in Portofino, Italy for a month, as I mentioned, I think. We stayed at a hotel. It had a piano player. He's been playing there something like 30 years. His name is Vlad. And got to be good friends with him, know him well, as well as some other people in the town. So I wanted to make gifts to send back. Well, I've got a 3D printer. I've got lasers. I can make things that you can't go buy in a store. So that was what started this. And you can see here, it says Edge of Innovation. This was sort of I did this for me, and it's in this little wooden base, and you can buy those actually on Amazon. And it's a 5 volt LED, and it's not very bright. It doesn't look great, and I wanted something brighter. So what I did is I took the 3D printer and I designed using Fusion 360. This was the first prototype, a base, and it has a 12 volt LED in it, so it's much brighter. This was prototype number 2, and I put a plaque in here, and this was the first version. On the back, it's another little thing. It says, "Thank you for making our night special," with our name and our town on it. And the final version was this one, and I made about 6 or 8 of these interchangeable little signs. They say different things.
Can you change the camera and show people that bigger? Because at least as I'm seeing it, it's not.
Well, let's see.
It's so nice, but put it more towards your microphone.
Oh, let's see. We'll get it.
Yeah. Look at that. It's acrylic cut out. The letters are cut out and engraved. You did a fabulous job on that. That person is going to be happy.
Yeah, I think they'll like it. I mean, it's not something, and I even 3D printed this little switch on the side that turns it on and off. Mm-hmm. And this is 12 volt, and these just come out like that. So it's something you're not going to have. You're not going to go down to the store and buy this. So hopefully they enjoyed it. And then in the little town that we were in, we went to a little bar and sort of a restaurant each night. And for that, I'm making a serving table. This is a table that, let's see, let me get a little better shot here maybe. The guy's shtick is he comes out every night with some champagne and he makes peach bellinis. His name is Ugo, as you can see, and the restaurant is Bar Morena. And unbeknownst to him, I took his picture one night as he's doing this. He makes a whole production out of it. And I measured his serving table that he uses, and I made one out of walnut. And this is going to be inlaid into it. The stars will be probably gold acrylic, I'm thinking. The letters will be inset into the walnut, and it should look nice. And then I'm gonna put a bar top finish, an epoxy bar top finish on it when I'm done. So that's that's something you're not going to.
Did we get disconnected?
There you are.
Okay, it looks like we just got disconnected for a second.
Okay, I think I was still live. Well, okay,
Well,
we're back.
It says we're live, yeah.
Well, pardon my French, ladies and gentlemen. So there was a little.
That would be Italian.
That would be Italian. Yes, that means something else in Italian. It's not what you think. So anyway, those are things that you can buy. I'm not sure. I think they heard what I was saying. So, but yeah, those are the kind of things you can do with a 3D printer and a laser cutter and engraver that you can't do any other.
Well, it looks like
There we go.
There we go. It looks like when you changed that screen, we lost connection.
Yeah, I think
we're back.
We're back. Sorry about that.
So I'm looking, instead of looking at you, and I'm looking at the little chubby Italian with a wine, and Bruce, he's better looking. He's better.
Yeah,
looking.
well,
I think we ran into same problem. Every time you go to an isolation of me, it drops us.
Yeah, that's strange. Not sure why. Let's see. I think they've got a bug in their software. That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah, that'd kind of be what I would think. But I like me because I'm pretty.
That's what
my girlfriend tells me. So
yeah, we're gonna just see. Not sure why it won't switch over. Don't know, man. I can't. Well, we'll leave it on the on Ugo's picture, and I'll talk from there. And we probably may have to wrap this up because of technical difficulties. I'm not sure.
Well,
oh, I know what it is. Hang on, I've got it. Here we go. We got it fixed right now. There we go.
Oh, sorry. You're so much better looking than me too. So what else have you been working on besides?
Oh, geez. What have I been working on? It's insane what I've been working on. I've been doing some microprocessor stuff. I've got to make a thing for my generator here so that it monitors the generator. I've gotten into that. I've got a laser setting in a crate over here. I've got a fiber, a MOPA, 100 watt MOPA fiber laser that's been sitting there far too long. I'm going to try to get that out in the near future. That's for metal engraving. It's typically used for anything metal, guns. A lot of people use them on guns, knives. A lot of people make challenge coins. So I'll be using it for those sort of things. So I'm also looking at maybe buying a UV laser. I've got a quote. I got it this morning from a person in China that I've done some business with that seems to be trustworthy, and we're looking at the possibility of getting a UV laser, and that would open up some new doors. That's mostly for glass.
Yeah, in buying the new laser, I don't have room in the shop to have kept the Mira 7. So in my Facebook group, I mentioned that I was going to sell it, and actually somebody that I had been in law enforcement with responded and wanted to buy it, and came and picked it up, and we put a badge on a piece of leather, and he was just amazed at the quality that we were able to pull off of that.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. These lasers, people have no idea the kind of accuracy they have, and the one you've got coming, this new one, if you look at it in terms of just the beam size, a typical CO2 laser has a beam size of about 8 or 10 hundredths of a millimeter. Is that right? Yeah, hundredths of a millimeter. And with these, the one you've got coming, it goes down to like 2,000th of an inch. I mean, I don't know what that equates to in millimeters, but it's tiny, tiny. It can do the tiniest of details. The same thing on the fiber lasers, same thing on the UV lasers. The beam diameter is so small that you can do just incredibly detailed engravings. It'll look like a photograph.
That I've been, we're both businessmen. Even though I've retired, I can't get out of the experience that I've had before in business. And one of the things that I found is, like when I was learning Fusion 360, I needed a little bit of help. Every now and then, if I'll pay for the knowledge. It's kind of like going to the community college, but it's hard for me to get there. I travel back and forth from Yuma, San Diego, and Irvine, and trying to go to a college and pick up the class would be very hard. So I've been looking at something like that. In that, I found that at Fusion 360, you can actually share your files and work cooperatively.
Yes. Yeah, you can.
So if I had a teacher, and I could just, tell them, send them an email and say, hey, this is the problem I have. I can't get these two magnet holes to align. I mirror it. I do this. I do that. I just can't figure it out. How do I fix that? Well, I'm trying to get a couple of people that are experts in different things to start something where it's kind of like Fiverr or, a club where guys can say, hey, well, you subscribe for a monthly fee and somebody will come in and answer your question or even fix the file if you send it to them. And it seems to be a big hole in the market. And, and I'll call it, there's a lot of people that like to do these things, but, there's in the CO2 world, like if you wanted to do maps of the United States and do puzzle pieces, all of those files are out there and available. You can buy them right now. But if you need some help with a custom file, that's harder to get. And I'd really like to come up with some kind of, and I'm not trying to make money off of this, but I'm trying to come up with some kind of methodology to make that happen. So that's one of the things I've been spending some time on and sending some emails out about.
Yeah. And one thing that people should be aware of, I think, and that is you can buy a lot of files if you're not good at designing, if you're not artistic, which I'm not very artistic, but this was, I was trying to come up with GIFs, and this is something else I'm going to be sending probably to the piano player. It's called, I'm not sure if I pronounce it right, Mandala. And this was a piece that I made to go over it. And I don't know if you can see it, but it's a piano. And this is like 6 layers of wood cut out. And it's a 3D image. So, and this is something I bought. I think it was, 99 cents or something. It's nothing, on Etsy. You can buy anything on Etsy.
I absolutely. One of my friends is a woodworker, lives down the street from me, and emailed me this morning. He says, can you cut out a couple of templates for me in acrylic? Mm-hmm. And I said, I told him in Spanish, lo siento mucho. Sorry, that is gone. You're going to have to wait till like the first part of November before I got a machine that'll do that again. He's like, you didn't. I said, yeah, I did. So the person that I sold the machine to, they were really geared towards buying blanks. Mm-hmm. Instead of making things, buying files or buying blanks and just engraving them and, sell it. He had
Yeah.
no, I want to make and repair things with my 3D printer and laser. I'm using it. I'm not going to say more creatively, but I'm using it as a tool to make other tools and that type of thing. That's where my focus is.
Well, as I've said, if you have a 3D printing business, you can add a laser to that business and grow your business. If you have a laser business, you can add a 3D printer to it and grow that business. And I did this. I did a quick check this morning before we started this live stream. I've had my current 3D printer, which is a Creality. I think I've got a picture of it here somewhere if I can find it. Um, that's it. I've had this about 7 or 8 months. It is currently in there printing. Let me see if we can pull that up. And it is, yeah, there it is. It's printing some, of all things, box cutters. I've had this 7 or 8 months. It has printed, in terms of hours and days, it has printed a little over 24 days. 24 days that thing has been in operation.
I lost the audio there, bud. I lost audio at 24 days. Says we're still live.
Yeah, they've got a bug in their software. I think yeah, it's been printing for 24 days. So it's just amazing that it's seen that kind of usage.
Yeah, and the price of that is pretty incredible. Um, the one that I bought, it will change automatically the filament colors. So if you
Yes.
want one part of your print to be one color, it'll do another one. Well, I guess there's a lawsuit about that now because somebody
There
got
is.
that right. And it just started. I don't know, I'm not an attorney. I'm not going to talk about that, in any detail. But Prusa makes another one. The difference in price, though, is almost double.
Yeah,
So
this is it. That's it. I've been looking at the Prusa. This is fully loaded and assembled. You're looking about $4,000 for this. It has the difference between what George has, which is roughly 1,500, and this is it has 5 print heads, or you can have up to 5 print heads, and it goes in and it's like a tool changer. It gets the one that it needs for that particular color or filament. In George's case, it uses 1 print head and it swaps them out, I guess is the best way to put it. Is that a good way to put it?
yeah, that seems fair to me.
Yeah. So, but there's a big difference in price. I wish Prusa would send me one for evaluation, and but maybe if they see this, they will. But I'm thinking about changing. I would have bought the same thing George had. George, the Bamboo is there's no question it is the best 3D printer out there for the price. I would have bought one. I would buy one tomorrow, but it's not quite big enough. As an example, this piece that we talked about earlier barely fits my machine, and mine prints 300 by 300 millimeters. George's is 260 roughly by 260, which doesn't sound like a lot of difference, but I print a lot of big things. This is not uncommon for me. In fact, this was actually printed in 2 pieces because it was too big to actually fit my printer. So I would like to have a bigger size, and the Prusa is bigger. It's 350 by 350, I believe.
Mine is sitting on my kitchen table.
Hey, it doesn't matter where it's at as long as it,
Yeah, I'm just telling you, it's like it came out, it got put on the kitchen table, and I've had the same type of experience. I mean, I've had a couple of mess ups that were probably my fault, but I had run into no spaghetti or I've had no problems. I'm very happy with what they did. I don't know whether it's specifically to my machine or whether it's representative of the entire industry. If you're getting the same kind of use result out of Creality that I am, I mean, how am I? It sounds like it's becoming as an industry standard, a much more reliable machine system.
Well, mine's fairly reliable, but yours, you can find almost no negative reviews of yours. Mine does have some issues. I've managed to work around them. I had to change my hot end out to a Swiss Micro, which is an aftermarket one, and that improved the printing process and the reliability. But yours is without a doubt the one to buy. If you're going to buy one, you want probably a Bambu Labs. One of the things that I don't think I told you about this, and you may not have seen it before, this is a 3D printed ratchet that actually works. This was sent to the space station in in orbit, and they have a 3D printer up there because they needed a ratchet to tighten a bolt. So they 3D printed it up there, and this thing actually works. I don't know if you can hear it clicking.
Yeah,
But
that's
it
cool.
works, and you can put a socket on here, and this is all printed in place. This isn't like 2 or 3 pieces. Another thing that I
I
printed.
want that file. Where'd you get that file?
It's available. Just put NASA socket wrench or something into Thingiverse or Printables or something.
Cool.
This is the same thing. This is a 3D printed ball bearing that actually works. It's all printed one piece. And I use this on a couple of things I was making. But you can 3D print ball bearings. This was a piece that I made for my filament feeder. I made a special filament feeder, and this is a piece. This is for my laser printer. And what this is, it clamps to the nozzle, and then here in the back you have a channel, and this is at the nozzle where the laser exits. There's I can insert another laser in there. It's a distance measuring laser. It uses a fiber optic amplifier, and it's a fiber optic laser, and I can measure with down to about 1 millimeter accuracy what the height of the material is. And my goal is to ultimately tie this into an Arduino microprocessor and control the bed height on my laser with it. But this was, this is like literally, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes of work with Fusion. So it's amazing what you can do. I mean, it's, I surprise myself every day when I come up with something I need and boom, I print it or cut it. It's, it's nice to be able to do it.
Yeah, I had fashioned out of acrylic a roller system for my laser. It came with something would do a regular cylindrical tumbler, but if you wanted to do a wine glass, it wouldn't work. Well, I have I don't think I have it on my desk, but what I did was I got a motor that is I got a motor that is compatible with my laser, and the wiring setup of the Eon. I actually got it from the engineer at Eon, and I'm going to try and make my own 3D printed fancy chucked roller,
Sure.
and because they're, a good one commercially. And this is just my opinion. I think they're a little over engineered and they're way too much money. I mean, what I did was I took my cheap one with a piece of T-Track from the wood shop and some acrylic and a few rollers, and all of a sudden I'm engraving wine glasses like a pro.
Yeah.
So, and it didn't cost me anything. That's one of the things that, I encourage everybody, especially in my group, think outside of the box. You can't do it. How can you do it? Because you can.
Yes.
Is it commercially feasible? That's an entirely different thing. What are you holding there?
Well, I said I do big parts. When I was in Italy, one of the problems I had is I take some medication that has to be refrigerated. And, I'm on an airplane and in cars and traveling for, 30, 35 hours. It's hard to keep it refrigerated, hard to keep it cold. So I designed this, which was this was the prototype. It's not perfect. I didn't have what I needed to do it. I did this just as a kind of a test. You can get these Yeti glasses, which is what I drink out of, and they will keep something cold for a long time. So what I've done in the past is put my medicine in here and just tape it up and take it with me and with some ice in it, and it keeps it cold for quite a while. Well, it doesn't last 30 or 40 hours, though, which is what I need. So this will be something that will hold this Yeti glass. It goes inside, and what you can't see here, maybe you can see it, there's a little hole here, and inside this cylinder It is hollow. There are chambers in here, but it's real strong. I mean, this thing is tough, tough, tough. But there are chambers in here. You fill this with water. There is a tapered plug that fits in here. This lid will screw on, and on the top it says refrigerated medicine inside. So between this and you'd freeze this, you'd put the water in it, freeze this, and I'll print it out of what's called TPU, which is a flexible filament, and it will it'll be able to expand and not break. Put the lid on, put this in it, and I'm hoping it will last 40 hours. This is next year's travel project. So, but that's why I need big printers. I print a lot of big stuff.
Is cool. I mean,
But yeah, it doesn't exist. You can't go buy this. I mean, I have not found a way to keep my medicine cold for, the length of the trip.
Mm-hmm. Well, as you know, my girlfriend lives in another state, and we commute back and forth. And I may have to buy another 3D printer, if you know what I mean.
Well, I may have one for sale if you decide you need one. Maybe I'll fix up with mine.
My next door neighbor wants one. I'm going to put a little pitch out to a couple of the companies that says, hey, give my buddies a discount. And if I can get a discount code for them, I'm all happy. I don't need to make any money. I am I always want to be very open about any, I get paid from YouTube about $100 a month.
You're going to get rich on that, aren't you?
Yeah. In my Premiere Pro editing suite 65. So let me do the math here.
Yeah.
But, I am a partner for Eon Laser. I've worked with Xtool before. They've sent me both direct money and discounts on products. I mean, almost all these programs are available, but I really kind of like that, in what I'm going to call the change in media sources like YouTube, that, some of these companies will reach out to creators and, aid them, with some of the costs that are involved in running these channels. It's not cheap. I know I bought the Yeti microphone. I see that Rode hanging there. That wasn't that wasn't free. I know that. I didn't go to the absolute very good one like you did. There are costs even to be able to share this with the public. I'm happy to do it. It's my hobby. Everybody, I get something out of it. One of my friends just bought an AC Cobra Resto mod thing, and he paid, I think, about $160,000 for it.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's, he has his hobby, I have mine. And,
well, it's the only difference between men and boys is the price of the toys. I mean, what you see here is, this is just the studio that I built. It wasn't easy and it wasn't cheap, I can tell you. And what you don't really see, and I can show you, this looks very neat and organized back here. Well, it's really not. I'll put my bench cam on. That's what my bench looks like. Here's a second shot of what the bench looks like. I'm doing some microprocessor work, and that's the oscilloscope running. And it's not.
But I have an appointment. After this, I ran into an engineer with 30 years experience, and he found out that I got ripped off on the deal, and probably what my intent was to share. Don't do that. And he's offered to grab one of my files and go over it with me and say, hey, look, here, do this, fix this, fix this. And, there are a lot of us out there that are doing this.
Yeah.
And I encourage anyone that has a skill like this to do it. I mean, don't isolate yourself in front of either your computer or your TV. If you've retired, go do something.
Yeah, I mean, in my case, I built this crazy studio, and I use it for other things in my business. So I can put myself anywhere in the world if I can change the background and make it look like anything if I want, which is kind of neat. I mean, the technology is amazing. So it's fun. It's as my wife says, it keeps me out of the pool halls.
My dad was a pool player. he grew up. There was a pool player that was really famous named Minnesota Fats. He
Sure,
actually
of course.
played
Yeah.
pool. He played pool against Minnesota Fats in
Wow.
in St. Louis, and
Wow.
he was a Marine, and he was a recruiter. And in his day, to be a Marine recruiter you invited to a lot of things because it was after the
Sure.
Second World War, and it was like, come on down. And, they showed them, our military is shown quite a bit of respect in today's community, but in that community after the Second World War is probably even a little stronger than it is now in certain ways.
Yeah.
So they handed him a pool cue and they went at it.
Well, I was, I used to spend some time in the pool halls, but I was never very good. I was never good enough to make any money at it. That's for sure. It only cost me money. So
Yeah, well, it sounds like me and 3D printers.
yeah, I don't have a camera on it, but I buy my filament in 5 kilogram spools, which is 11 pounds. So each, typically the spools will be 1 kilo or 2.2 pounds, and I buy them in 5 kilo spools. And I go through it. It's surprising how fast I can go through 11 pounds of plastic.
Who do you buy that from? Sunlu?
Yeah, I bought it from a couple of people. I'd have to go in there and look. It's kind of whoever has the best price. And
Yeah.
I print almost exclusively in PETG, which is a type of plastic. That's what this is. That's what the tumbler holder was, and it's infused with fiberglass. It's got some glass in it. It's real strong, prints well. I like it. I rarely have problems. So I tend to be what I print in. I usually just print black. I don't have very many colors, but I occasionally will print something in carbon fiber or ABS. ABS can be kind of a pain because you have to get you have to heat up the chamber. The nozzle has to be hot. The bed has to be hot. That's more difficult to print. Same thing with carbon fibers. Polycarbonates, same thing. They're a little difficult to print. But this one is, if you get PLA, which is what most people use, that prints really well. You have very few problems. This PETG is kind of the same way. You have very few problems, and it's tough. I mean, you can abuse it quite a bit, and it keeps on going. It doesn't perform very well, I don't think, outside in the sun, but I don't ever do anything that really is out in the sun.
I had these, and when you take it, because I wanted it to have a groove in it so that I could pull
Yeah, that's a picture of it.
So I could pull it, the male and female edge off of the system, but I couldn't. I still am having a problem lining up all the holes. So what ends up happening is, I finally got the right strength and everything magnet, and what the plan is, I want to make them more professional than anything I can buy, because I can go right now onto Thingiverse and get this. It doesn't look nearly as nice. It's not as thick. It's not as durable. It's just not me. Well, that's what I'm going to figure out, is how to, and I figured out how to embed the magnet and cover it so it'll be totally hidden, so the magnet won't fall out. I'm really excited about being able to do this type of thing. And then I'll probably put the instructions out there and available to somebody else and share the file. Why wouldn't I?
If you haven't bought any yet, you may want to buy some of these, and you can buy a little tool. What this is, it's a little brass insert. They're typically available in metric, and you use a little soldering iron that has a special tip on it, and it presses it into the plastic, and it's an insert that makes it threaded. And I will use these occasionally. That's was used on a project, but you can buy them on Amazon or one of the Chinese places. They're real cheap, and they come in different sizes. Then, as I said, they're typically metric. This is I think a 3 millimeter, 3 or 5. I don't know. I'm not very good with metric, but it's I use them quite a bit. And you're right, magnets are also a good way to go sometimes. I use those a lot.
The laser that I had would run, it would run off a 50 amp circuit all day long. Well, the one that I'm buying, it has to have a 20 amp dedicated circuit.
Hmm.
So I'm in the process right now of moving everything around in my garage, in the shop, which is my garage, and I can still park my car in it at night, and getting the proper electricity panel run in. I could use a little more electricity because when I use my I went to like 3.5 horse dust collection system, which is the reason that I need these. And if you turn that and a table saw on, you're stretching the 15 amps.
Yeah.
So I need two 20 amp legs put in, but it's, I think I'm getting to a point where I'm not going to be able to do anything else other
Mhm.
than, make and clean because I don't have any more room. I've already gone into my guest bedroom and started to look at it and like, how many 3D printers could I put in?
Yeah, well, there's not that many people come to visit. I could use this. I know how that works. Yes.
Yeah, it's like, and they're just sleeping. They're not hanging anything up. And if they are, leaving their car.
That's right. That's right. That's
You
right.
know, it's like how
Well,
many
as
you fit.
I think that if there's anybody that's going to watch this or has been watching it, the thing to take away from it is, have fun, get off the sofa, go out and have some fun. And if you want a sideline business, we haven't talked about this, but we probably should spend a few minutes on it. But if you want a sideline business, this laser cutting and engraving and the 3D printing, when you marry them together, there are people making some serious money. Now, we're not doing that. We're sort of semi-retired, but we know people that are doing quite well. Um, it's funny the people you run into here in town where I lived. I was telling a friend of mine who's a realtor, who's one of the top realtors here in town, about my laser and about my 3D printer, and he said, "Well, I know somebody here in town. They're young. They started out in high school, I think, doing this for a charity, and they were using a 3D laser, or not a 3D laser, but a laser to do some sort of charity work." And it was funny because when I went to visit one of the laser companies here in Florida, I don't think it was Eon, I think it was the competition, they mentioned they had sold a laser here in town, and I live in a very small town here in Florida, and they mentioned that they were doing some sort of charity work. So I knew it was the same people. They told me they were grossing over $1 million a year with that business. So it's shocking sometimes how much business is out there. It really is.
The the three I I don't want to do that. My girlfriend wants me to get on a boat and go on another cruise, if you know what I mean. And I got so many years left, and I'm going to take her instructions.
Yeah.
So the that's not anything I want to do, but I know some people that are making serious money.
Yeah.
And a lot of manufacturing companies are. There's a 3D printer out there that is very, very high quality and expensive, and it's like $10,000. And instead of being a bed slinger, the thing goes up and down. I forget what it is, what the name of it is. I'm certainly not going to buy a $10,000 3D printer, but it says every engineer has one on his desk. And one of my friends, who I just gave him a diode laser, he took it home, put it together. His wife's already addicted and wants a CO2. I mean, it happened in like a period of 72 hours. His nephew came out of University of Arizona with an engineering degree, works for Hewlett Packard. Guess what he has on his desk? That machine.
Really?
And they prototype with it, and but he has one sitting on his desk. It's ultra quiet. It's a tower size, and most of the things that he's working on, he has the ability to send his file to a division or another subcontractor that will print anything. But when they need something small and they're trying to fashion it, because you can go in and scale it to size, they can literally look at it, and there is nothing like holding it. There's nothing like holding a prototype piece.
That's right. Yeah.
So
no, it's changing the world. I mean, it really is. It's it's shocking what you can do just in a garage workshop. People are constantly amazed at some of the things I come up with. That for me, it seems fairly simple because I've been doing this a while. I've been 3D printing for was trying to think this morning for years. I mean, this is my third Creality printer. I've had three of them. And I started with a Lulzbot, which was this small little printer that barely worked. It used an oddball size filament, and but I made it work. I mean, I did get a few prints out of it, but it was a real struggle. But I've been doing this now for, I guess 7 or 8 years, something like that. And
For the person that's thinking about this, my printer was $1,500. The one that you showed, I think it was like in the $800 range, $769, something
yeah,
like
it's
that.
$800.
Bamboo Labs has a little bed slinger for like a couple $100, like under 250.
You
And
can buy the Bamboo Labs, or you can
81
buy a
mini.
Creality. Yeah, either one of those. They've got printers that are $250,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah, that's why I'm saying, it's like it doesn't have to be a huge price point.
No.
And the Fusion 360 right now, I'm working on an absolutely free license, and they encourage people to, you can learn it, and then if you want to jump up or you're going to, turn it into a commercial pursuit, it's right there. You've already learned it for free. I mean, that for Autodesk to do that for the community, it's a heck of a gift back.
Yeah, I pay for my version. Because I've been using Fusion now for a long time, and I've got a 3D Haas CNC 4-axis milling machine, not 3D, 4-axis milling machine in the room next door. So that's Fusion runs that, which I don't use it as much as I probably should, but it's a big machine. I could put a chunk of metal in it and turn out an engine block for a car. It would do that. I mean, it's big enough to. I could put a 3 by 3 foot piece of steel in it, and assuming that I could program it, I could get an engine block out of it. But I typically tend to make little tiny things. However, instead of engine blocks, I'm making things that are 2 inches square. So it's kind of overkill.
But the idea that it's out there and it's available, if you wanted like a second job,
yeah,
you could teach yourself this stuff. I got scammed for $15, but if you mastered the program, you can become a valuable person.
Yeah.
It's a skill that's right there and available on your computer. I mean, there's a guy, Titan.
Titan, a CNC Titan.
Yeah. I mean, he came out of prison. He goes back into prisons and teaches guys how to do this. That's pretty incredible, in my opinion. You don't have to have a college degree to be able to run the program.
And even if you're using Fusion, the paid version, I think I pay $600 a year for it, which is actually pretty cheap. I mean, you're paying, $50, $60 a month or something, and that's nothing in the scheme of things, really. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can't complain about it. It's very, very powerful. You can do so much with it. It's kind of unreal. It's a program that no matter how long you use it, you will never learn it all. I think I read somewhere they have 1,700 commands inside Fusion. Nobody knows them all, including, I'm sure, the people there at Autodesk. But, you only need to know maybe 20, 30, 40, 50. And if you know how to use those, you can muddle your way through anything. I'm certainly not an expert, but I can pretty much design anything that I want and muddle my way through it.
I was working on it for a while, and I didn't realize that my mouse was not accurate enough to pick up all the commands. And I came to find out something about that. And then I found out the same problem exists with Premiere Pro, and I've been having problems with that.
If you're using Fusion 360, you have to get one of these. This is made by a company called 3D Connexion, Connexion. This is the cheapest version, and these are not cheap. I think this one's $150, $60, but they're really well made. You can't imagine how heavy this thing is. This will make life in designing in 3D with Fusion. It's like night and day. You've got to get one of these. And I actually have, I don't use this one really much anymore. I took it on vacation with me. The one that I've got their Enterprise model, which is this one, which you don't need. I mean, it's very nice. It's got all these buttons that you can program to do different things. But if you buy this one, this is what you want. It just makes life so much easier. You can't imagine the difference, because this will allow you to spin things around and look at them, zoom in, zoom out. Um, I actually own 3 of these things.
I wanted to talk to you about this issue because I went out and bought a Logitech that has got the right DPI to it, and for there are a lot of pro video editors that use this one. So, and because I do probably more video editing than I do the other, I bought this, but I understand, I spent $15 to get ripped off. Now I can spend $150 to do it right? So
well, the way these work is this is a left-hand, right-hand thing. So you will put this, if you're right-handed, you'd put this on the left side. This allows you to zoom and tilt and move in 3D space. And your regular mouse and your right hand, you're working, so you use them in conjunction. And it's very fluid, it's very natural. You get accustomed to it really quickly. There are I did change the default settings on this in the program where I like it a little better. That's just me. But you can change. This is actually, I think, a 6-axis device. It lifts up. You can pull up. You can push down, left, right, forward, backward. So that's 4 or 5, 6 axes. So you can zoom in, zoom out, forward, backward, left, right. Oh, on the other one, maybe it's 7. You can you spin it like this. It turns, and that will spin the model.
Oh,
this makes life
so much
1,000 times easier. You will never look back if you buy one.
Cool.
Anybody that uses Fusion 360 on a regular basis, I promise you, will own one of these.
Cool. Well, I don't have much more to say. We've been at this for about an hour.
For about an hour. Well, longer if you count the practice session that we didn't go.
Well, that doesn't count. We're not counting that. Why don't we plan on doing another one? I want to do one on the different filaments and share that with people. What filament do you use for outdoor that's UV protected?
I think a lot of people will use. I think ABS is supposed to be pretty good with outdoor stuff. I don't print anything that goes outdoor. I've got actually some pieces that are outdoor I exhaust my condensation. I've got 2 big condensate dehumidifiers here, and they have automatic pumps on them, and so they pump under the garage door, and I 3D printed some things that allow it to go under the door, and they've been out there for a long time, and they're holding up just fine. And
PLA.
They're printed, and they're PLA. Yeah, they're PLA. So
yeah, I think you can paint PLA too.
Well, I think you can paint any of them. You can. I mean, I have painted them before, but I usually don't. But you can.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if you painted it, it'd probably give you a little more. But I was thinking about making some pathway lights. I'm crazy for colored lights, and
I think ABS and your printer certainly will do ABS. That's the nice thing about your printer. There isn't any filament you can buy for the most part that you can't print with that printer. Mm-hmm. It will handle anything you can throw at it and handle it well. If you get one of the bed slingers that isn't enclosed, you're not going to be able to print ABS or something like that. Mm-hmm. But or carbon fiber, you're not going to be able to do carbon fiber on a bed slinger because you've got to have it enclosed. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we can do another one on filament. Whatever, we ought to do these more often. Now that I've got the studio set up and running again, I can do them pretty quickly and easier. And the more of them we do, the less technical difficulties we're likely to encounter.
Yeah, and if there's anybody out there watching and they want to do this with us, send us an email.
Yeah, send an email. I can include up to 10 people in this, and we'd love to have more people join us. So let us know. I mean, we've done a couple. We did one with Hope Yoder. So yeah, that went well.
Cool. I wish you the very best. I'll say goodbye to you and everybody else. And I'm going to my Fusion 360 class now.
Yeah. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. And until next time, I'm Bruce from the Edge of Innovation Workshop YouTube channel. And that was George Kenner from the George Kenner YouTube channel, and also Laser Freedom Speak As You Wish on Facebook. Hit the like or subscribe button. And until next time, have a good time.
Thank you.